Has crypto built something useful? Or is crypto just a collection of Ponzi schemes, with sophisticated scammers stealing money from hopeful newcomers? Depending on who you ask, crypto can be an incredible financial opportunity. Or the complete opposite. The problem is, when evaluating the crypto industry, we often throw around terms without fully understanding them. True, there are some Ponzi schemes, but there are also many projects that are not Ponzi's. This doesn't mean that all crypto projects are good, but we do need some ways to distinguish between good and bad projects, those that are living and those that are dying, and those that are scams or not scams. In this video, we will divide it in two major categories. The first one being living projects and dying projects. Within this category, there are three subclasses: pyramid, Ponzi, and Tulip. This will help us assess whether a particular project has a future or not. Living projects. Living projects have genuine buyers, creating revenue for the business. There are people who pay to use the services without being bribed with incentives. One example is AAVE on Ethereum. When you deposit funds and engage in borrowing and lending on AAVE, you have to pay for that service. AAVE does not promise any bonuses for it, so you are a genuine buyer in the AAVE community. If AAVE manages to revenue effectively, then the business is profitable. This business is alive. Uniswap is another good example of a living project. They earn trading fees from every transaction, and Uniswap doesn't need to provide UD tokens as an incentive. People use Uniswap because they want to. The third example of a living crypto project is Yearn. People willingly pay a 20% management fee for the risk management of their portfolios without being bribed with other tokens to use the platform. Outside of crypto, there are many examples of living businesses. Take food businesses, for example. People go to restaurants or eateries for lunch. Their businesses are alive because buyers pay for the food when they are hungry and in need. Buyers don't need to be enticed with bonus offers to attract them. These businesses generate revenue and may even make a net profit. Unfortunately, many projects in crypto are not living, even though they may appear good. Many crypto projects are dying and slowly fading away. Dying projects. If a project spends more money on incentives than the revenue generated from users, it indicates that the project is dying. Most projects that do this claim that their reward tokens are not being sold, but many users are indeed only seeking profits, so they sell them. The TVL of such projects will decrease if the bonus rewards are stopped. People in crypto are always looking for free money machines. So unless the product is truly needed, they will move their funds elsewhere once the money printing machine dies. A recent example is Anchor Protocol in Terra. There are people who are willing to pay to borrow money on this platform, but the amount of rewards that Anchor has to distribute far exceeds the income they generate. Its growth becomes unsustainable. This is not something unique to crypto. Uber is famous for this, and even Gojek is starting to experience the same thing. The reason Uber and Gojek are very expensive is that they have stopped subsidizing with venture capital money. There's an argument that the only reason Uber could replace taxis in some cities is that Uber burned money to drive growth. Now that the money is gone, taxis are becoming more popular again overseas. Dying may be a strong term, but it indicates the direction a business is heading. Unless they can turn the situation around, they will die. They need to attract more revenue than expenses in the form of incentives. Many businesses and projects start in a dying phase. However, being in a dying phase does not necessarily mean they will die. Some can survive, so this term should not be interpreted too strongly. Well, there are very few crypto projects that have successfully done this. To be more specific, we can break it down into three subcategories. Pyramid schemes. Pyramid scheme is a scheme where the main source of income comes from people who have to pay to enter the system. And the main source of your income is from recruiting others to join and pay as well. Thus, its structure resembles a pyramid. Early adopters and those who recruit many people are the ones that earn the most money. The later you join, the less money you can make because there are fewer people to recruit. And ultimately, the scheme collapses where latecomers cannot recover the initial investment. Actually, it's difficult to find examples of pyramid schemes in crypto. Many projects have early investors who make more money than later investors, but that doesn't necessarily make them pyramid schemes. The question is there a product being offered, or are you only making money by convincing others to buy in? Some argue that NFTs like Bored Ape are like MLM, a less aggressive type of pyramid scheme. However, Bored Ape holders don't make money from the people they convince to buy these NFTs. The only advantage is that early investors fare better than later investors. Well, if that's the case, it's the same as with almost anything. You wouldn't argue that Facebook is a Ponzi scheme just because their stock dropped 80% and some late investors got stuck, right? Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are the most difficult to identify. A Ponzi scheme is a scheme where there is no real business generating income. Funds from new contributors are used to pay off previous contributors. This scheme typically involves deliberate deception. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme is perhaps the most famous example. He engaged in fraud by falsifying trades to exploit the source of profits. In reality, he was circulating money from new investors to pay off earlier investors. While he ran an investment business, some of the returns were fabricated. BitConnect is perhaps the most well-known Ponzi scheme we've seen in crypto. They promised a daily compound return of 1%, which actually came from others who put money into the system. As far as we know, the 20% interest rate on Anchor protocol for USD is not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. Anchor protocol is not attempting to deceive or hide the sources of their earnings. They state that it is a marketing expense by the Luna Foundation to encourage USD adoption. The practice is not significantly different from venture capitalists subsidizing Uber. This does not mean we can say that this approach is right or good. What has happened with Luna is quite messy, but it is not yet clear if Anchor has engaged in any criminal actions. Tulip schemes. Tulip refers to a situation where an investment becomes increasingly valuable due to the belief of other investors. Typically, these assets have little utility and are primarily seen as investments or stores of value. Many things can be considered tulips, and we evaluate them based on their durability. Gold is a tulip. Art is a tulip. Any status symbol can be a tulip. Most NFTs are tulips, even though they may grant membership to certain communities. Being called a tulip does not mean something is without value. We can turn gold into jewelry. But the reason we tend to do that is because gold is valuable. The only reason we consider something valuable is because of its scarcity. If we all stopped caring about gold, or if we managed to find alchemy, no one would care about gold anymore. In this context, tulip simply means that the value of an asset is based on subjective myths about its importance. This asset only holds value as long as others believe it does. Conclusion. So, Ponzi and pyramid schemes are both ways to generate income without any real spending activity. While tulips can hold significant value, they often involve minimal business expenditure, making it difficult to classify them as investments. They are more suitable to be viewed as speculation. Without a real business model, many crypto projects are struggling. Many crypto projects are purely speculative. The important question is, how do we evaluate whether a crypto project is legit? There are 3 key questions to consider. Who is spending the money? What are the revenues and expenses? Is there a way to make the project's business model healthier? We hope this video can assist you in selecting more suitable crypto projects. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to also subscribe to Republik DAO for more contents just like these. Any information about our social media, Discord, or projects are available in the subscription. in the descriptions below. Cheers and see you next time. Bye!